and the reason behind Giving Tuesday. I always find when I'm talking to communities that there's a lot of miscommunication or a misunderstanding about the breadth of the day and really the intention and all the ways that you can activate on this day. I'm really excited to be talking to you all, not only because I love the Carolinas, and I'll explain that in a minute, but I also love that there are so many different ways that you are allowing your community to engage in your work and in your mission. And it's really the breadth of opportunities for the giver community I feel is a hallmark of a Giving Tuesday campaign. But let's start from the beginning. So we're going into our 8th year of Giving Tuesday. And the idea, the notion that it was built on was it was simply a day to do good. A lot of people know the origin story of it being after Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Kind of gotten away from that a little bit because we've become this global campaign, and Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Thanksgiving doesn't translate after, in other countries, but we have since in those 8 years become a global movement, and it has inspired activation of Giving Tuesday efforts around the world, happening in every single country in some way around the world. And again, just a day to do good and to honor all the ways that someone can give. So a little bit about me, so you give you some context here. I actually have been a fundraiser during the Giving Tuesday. I have led a community-wide campaign like Tanya and her team. And now, I'm on the Giving Tuesday headquarter team, but I came from the Austin community. I'm originally from Texas, but I live in DC. But I have lived in Charlotte for 4 years. And that's why I love the Carolinas so much. I hope one day I end up back and retire there. But until then, I am in DC. But I ran a community-wide campaign in Austin, and it was with an organization called I Live Here, I Give Here. And we were the community leader for the Central Texas area for Giving Tuesday. I loved the work that we were doing in Austin were community-wide campaigns, and we decided to bring on Giving Tuesday and activate. And I'd have to say, of all the campaigns that we did, Giving Tuesday was one that resonated really well with our giver community and our nonprofit community. A lot of you have been participating for years and years, but I wanted to provide a little context that hopefully shows that I know where you are. I know where you've been. I know what it's like 2 weeks out from something. I know what it's like when a board member's like, what are we doing on Giving Tuesday? We're not doing anything yet. Why aren't we doing something? I've been there. So hopefully I arm you with enough information about why this day. Again, I told you it's a global day, but it really is about local impact and about giving together and valuing all the ways that someone can give. Now more than ever, especially this year, 2020, at least our giving, the giving trends that we have seen, we are a large data organization. We have a whole data team that really collects data from hundreds of platforms, and we are really studying donor behaviors and donor trends, and what we know are some of the things that I'm going to be sharing with you of at least what we know about Giving Tuesday in the last 8 years of doing this. Is the reason that this day is successful is because we are valuing everything that all the assets of a person, and not just their monetary assets. And we're including all kinds of partners. It's a completely open source collaborative campaign, and we are a leaderful campaign. So you have your local leaders in Follow the Loop, and Tanya and her team, who are creating a campaign that works for RDU. And I did a campaign that works for Austin. So while we are part of this bigger global movement, it is super hyper local. But I wanted to share a couple of facts about Giving Tuesday. For those of you, maybe you aren't personally on the fence about whether you should engage or whether you should put in a lot of time or effort into it, or how much time and effort you should put into it. But you might have staff members or board members saying, why this day? Why did we activate on this day? Well, this is what we know, is that Giving Tuesday is one of the 3 days in a year where donors are actually looking for nonprofits to support, as opposed to the other 362 days of a year where nonprofits are looking for donors. So the only other 2 days are December 30th and December 31st. So the power of the day is there. The day is big, yes. This is showing the trajectory of just online donations that happen on this day. Last year was the first time we were able to actually capture what was happening offline, but still we feel this is a fraction of the overall generosity that is happening across the globe. And this is, again, just mostly at the dollar level. And while these numbers are big, I kind of hate showing this because I want it, because to me, the magic of Giving Tuesday is that 52% of people who give on this day say they give because they are part of something bigger. They are doing this together, that we are doing this together as a community. And to me, that is what the day means. As I said, it's a global campaign. We have over 70 countries that country leaders who create a campaign around Giving Tuesday or giving. They all have different names. They're all translated in different ways, culturally, language-wise, but they all are activating around this notion of anyone can be a giver and anyone can be a recipient of generosity. As I talked about, I am kind of working with all of the US market. We have 240 community campaigns, RDU being one of those. And I feel that this is, again, hyper-local global movement, if it's possible to say all of that in one sentence, but it really is about the magic that's happening at the local level. And we've grown so much. Communities taking on this campaign and making it relevant and authentic and awesome just for your community. It is a day that is a gateway for young people. I believe it's 82% of those that are aware of Giving Tuesday between the ages of 18 and 34 participate in this day. So it's a day to maybe galvanize some younger, newer donors. It's also a day, as I mentioned, to celebrate all of the ways to give. This is a picture of Michael Bloomberg. The one at the top is him of his first year, right when he graduated from Johns Hopkins University, where he gave his first gift. He was asked for his first gift to the university was $5. And now he has given over $1 billion to his university, his alma mater. And again, we all are professional fundraisers here and know that it's the power of stewarding that $5 gift. Like, who are your $5 donors? I know we're not all going to have a Michael Bloomberg in our field of donors, but I think the notion here is that we putting effort and emphasis and attention on those donors who are coming to us at all levels is really important. And that's the power of this day. Maybe that's what you use this day for, is focus on those donors and nurture them. And what we also believe at Giving Tuesday emphatically is that there is no such thing as donor fatigue. And I know that as a development professional, you're like, come on, are you kidding me? There is donor fatigue. But what we feel and what we know is that it's not necessarily the idea that donors are tired of giving. They are tired of bad messaging and being asked the same thing over and over again in the same way, and maybe not being given the options and the ways to give to your organization or to a mission in the way that they want to engage. So we feel that it is about messaging and engagement more so than donors stopping to give. If that was the case, Giving Tuesday wouldn't be going up in amount of donations that are being given. But in 2020 is rivaling levels of 2019 giving. So, there is the notion of, yes, donors are tired, but what exactly are they tired of? Not tired of giving. So I'm going to talk a little bit about 7 steps to success. You guys might already be well on your way to executing your campaign, and that's fine, but maybe there's something in here that sparks another idea or new idea. But what we are telling people, at least in this 2-week period, what is the things you got to focus on to be successful for Giving Tuesday? Excuse me. First, the notion is it doesn't have to be about fundraising, or is it in addition to fundraising, you add another element to your campaign? As I mentioned before, we're talking about all the ways to give, and it's called Giving Tuesday, not Fundraising Tuesday. A lot of people call it Fundraising Tuesday or Begging Tuesday or Annoying Tuesday. Yes, inboxes are flooded, but they're also flooded with Old Navy and West Elm and whatever Target, is in your box too, but you don't get mad about that. So yes, it is a day that is focused on giving, and it should be. But here's some tips to success and what we feel makes a powerful campaign. Starts with that inspired leader. We feel this is about our community campaigns as well. That inspired leader like Tanya in the Follow the Loop group, saying that they want to create something that works for them, works for your community. But it takes an inspired leader. It takes authenticity and creating a messaging and something that really speaks to your mission, but speaks to your people. Having a clear goal with the day. I heard a lot of people saying that, or not a lot, a couple of you saying, and I hear it a lot too, that we didn't have particularly great success with Giving Tuesday. But I always ask, well, then the next question is, what was your goal for the day? What were you trying to achieve with the day? What specifically were you measuring? What were you focused on? Because you can't boil the ocean and you can't assume that this is a silver bullet. There is work that needs to be done on figuring out best strategies, but they're most importantly building those strategies around a goal, a particular goal. And getting very specific. And that helps you tunnel in what strategies you're going to employ, what decisions and helps you with decision making. So you're not kind of all over the place. And I'm not insinuating that's where it was, but I always go back when I was a community leader and I had organizations we worked with 700 nonprofits, and I had a lot of them ask questions about, I wasn't successful at Giving Tuesday. I kind of just threw it in there as a mix and just to see what would happen. And as any fundraising strategy or any strategy for engagement with the community, it has to be a little more clear than that, than just throwing it in the mix. You have to really figure out like what's your strategy with it. And then collaborating maybe with another organization. You are collaborating naturally as a group here and learning collectively with this community campaign. But we'll talk about that goal. And these are not my slides. I was just realizing, I'm like, that's a fun picture. I wish I had come up with that picture. But anyway, my coworker always says this. She talks about, Jamie, she talks about the goal is like a party theme. When you set a theme to the party, it really helps you define who's going to be on the guest list, who's going to be, what kind of decorations you're going to have, what kind of food you're going to serve. If you are creating a Cinco de Mayo party, you're not going to go to Party City and get shamrocks and leprechauns for and green clovers, and it really just helps set the tone of what you're focusing on for that day. And so I love this. I always love this picture. I wish I could take credit for it, but anyway, so thinking about your goal is step number one. And there are many ways to set this goal. And this is just not even an exhaustive checklist of the many ways that people use the day. So we've been talking a lot about fundraising and money and dollars, but is there a particular focus for this? Is it a dollar amount that you want to raise with some sort of match that you have with maybe one of those donors who usually gives you a sponsorship during one of those events that you are, that you talked about having to cancel these in-person events? We have a lot of communities and nonprofits using a sponsorship that they traditionally get for an event and asking that donor if they would consider it being a match for that day. If you are focused on fundraising. How do you get new donors is another opportunity and people are soliciting ambassadors to help spread the word of their organization to garner new dollars, and enabling and arming those ambassadors with easy information to share, what your goal is for the campaign, and giving them ideas on what they could do, how they could reach out to their to their networks. That's how you garner those new donors. Focus on younger donors. Focus on moving your volunteers from just volunteer hours to small dollar monthly donations. Is it building up your social presence, or is it getting, I've heard of some nonprofits actually, instead of dollars that they're trying to raising pledges of volunteer hours for the next year. So they're trying to get a bank of new volunteers who are pledging 20 hours to the organization over the course of 2021, whatever that looks like, because we don't know, depending on what kind of volunteer opportunity you employ. Or is it donation of items and goods in addition to maybe a dollar focused driven or campaign? It's about storytelling. Remember, I talked about a little bit about this in donor fatigue, about being really specific about great stories and who you're trying to help. Land the helicopter. Now, what does this mean? What this means, and me included, a lot of us in the service space have a social service space are at this top level talking about an issue or problem at a 10,000 foot view, where we're talking about there's 10,000 hungry children in this community. There's, 5,000 families that are, don't have housing right now. We're talking at these really high levels, and we're using data, and we're using very big numbers. And it's really hard for the donor community to distill and understand how their $10 donation is going to be specific and helpful enough to actually move the needle on something. So it is important in your storytelling. Yes, there is this 10,000 foot view. I don't even know if 10,000 is high enough anyway for a helicopter. But anyway, you get what I'm saying, is that when we want to tell a story so that when the donor is actually landing and you get to the point of making a donation, that they actually know what they're affecting, what they're able to do, and what their donation is who are they actually saving? And that comes into zeroing in on that iconic story. And that iconic story it could be a lot of things, or it could be one thing. It could be a lot of stories or one good story. And I would say focus on one or two really good stories. A lot of people are, talk about having a really big bank of good stories, and those take time to cultivate and time to nurture. And, depending on what you're doing for the community and who is going to be part of that iconic story, it might take some time, but you really want to hone in on a great story. And this is a story of Harry. And Harry was the key story kind of figure for this homeless shelter in New York City. And they made it very tangible about, you are helping Harry when you give a donation. And they made it very specific that their goal and the money that they were raising equaled how many nights of safe shelter. So while they were talking about Harry, and the donor was seeing Harry and knowing that Harry was the kind of person that they were helping, they were able to talk about the big number, but using Harry as the example. What you are giving to this homeless shelter, and you're giving your $100 or your $50, it is helping Harry, people like Harry, because there are 10,000 people in New York City who are without shelter tonight. And so it just goes back to storytelling. But I know that, again, a lot of you talked about using Giving Tuesday, maybe throwing it in the mix. But when it goes back to specific goal, your story is going to tell the story of whatever you're honing in on for this campaign. So is there a particular program or project that you actually want to fundraise for during this time? Then match your story to that project or program. Same with the type of giving. If you're asking them for goods, making sure your story ties to that. So this is just a little bit of a checklist when you're talking about when you're creating that iconic story, making sure that you're adding in those key elements. And I'll make sure that you guys get the copy of this presentation, so you're not like feverishly writing this stuff down, because I was doing that the other day and realized I could just get the presentation. So start gathering those assets. This is where I say, start with what you got. Don't feel that you have to start hiring a production crew to get high quality video. High quality video, high quality photos are important. However, if you don't have the budget and you don't have the time for this, authenticity is so more important. Shooting a phone with a really great message, shooting a video with a really great message from your iPhone. Shooting a video with your iPhone or your whatever phone, but a really good one is just as important and awesome, and something that you can use. I know a lot of people, I did it myself, repurposed photos that I already had and just either changed the coloring on them a little bit, or added a different tagline, added a different, message with those photos. But I do think high quality videos and photos, yes, those are really, really important. But it also is about making it authentic, and there's something about something not being really slick. And making sure that it has all of your, you've got your logos, you've got your hashtags with your story, and that picture ties with your story. But then you can use different pictures of that same person or that same story in different ways to tell used throughout your campaign. Also, fun social images of your staff as well. I think that's just so important. Showing the other side of your organization and the people who are doing the work is a great story. Creating that single call to action. Oops, sorry. Create that single clear, crystal clear call to action and getting very specific. Again, this goes back to the goal. Are you fundraising $5,000 for a very specific program, and you want people to give to that because you have a match, or whatever it is? Like, just get very clear on your call to action. However, I'm not saying that you don't have to have more than one call to action. When I say, like, maybe you're focused on fundraising, but is there another way that people can give who may not be able to financially give to you right now? Is there another thing that they can do to participate and be a part of your campaign that's going to service another goal of your organization? So this is a little bit of a practice or a process on how to create that inspiring ask. And another checklist, and giving, so this is just an example. This school is raising, as an example, trying to make an inspiring ask. This school is raising funds to build a food pantry for their students. Campaign launch with a story of a student who's hungry. Then in your messaging, you're talking about your belief statement, how this person can be a part of this story, and ending it with that clear call to action. So again, another checklist. The belief statement, one of the things I'll mention on this is the belief statement is something that and written in a way that the donor and the person takes on, that, well, I believe this too, actually. And it makes it very personal to that person. So when you then land with the next statement of how you can help, it just creates a connection between the iconic story that you have shared and how you as a donor can alleviate Harry's, suffering, how you can aid a student getting the food they need, who are hungry. So it's just another way to clearly make an ask and getting all of the really good stuff in there so that they say yes. Go through your donor experience. So in this next couple of weeks, test it. Test how, from beginning to end, how a donor. I did not do this before, and when I was with an organization, and somebody told me to do this, and it was just I'm like, oh well, clearly I built it. It's got to be exactly right. I mean, it's got to be easy. And I did not realize the amount of friction that was happening during a donation process. And so I just highly suggest. Oh, sorry, I don't know why my things are showing up. Oh, sorry. There you go. Y'all still see my screen? Thanks. Sorry about that. Anyway, so go through your everything from beginning to end, making the donation, what your test email says, making sure that it is crystal clear. It's super easy for people to make a donation to you. I did not do that. Somebody told me also, it's in the same space of when staying in your own guest room before your guests show up, just to see what their experience is like. It's just like that. Then think about how you can make this fun. I mean, I know that COVID has required us to really append all of our plans and not have in-person things. And depending on where you are, you may or may not be able to do something in person, but make it fun. Is there an opportunity to still have an official kickoff with your team? Is there a way to get food to people, or to, some sort of basket? Is there a way to plan an online event, and start priming the pump in the next 10 days of sending a few emails, announcing your campaign, and getting people ready for Giving Tuesday. But I think creating that level of excitement and again, priming that pump. But I think having some sort of kickoff even with your internal team or your board could really create some excitement, and plan the day to make it fun. Again, I know that people traditionally have a party room where staff can gather. We don't have that right now, but maybe there's an opportunity to still be reaching out when you're getting those donations. Have a couple of staff members ready to make phone calls immediately to people and thanking them, and creating a level of excitement, letting people know where you are in your goal, how you're progressing on your campaign. Again, if there's a way to get food to people as a celebration, tracking your progress and letting people know where you are is really important, and celebrating it when you reach your goal. So hopefully there's a couple of ideas in there of adding to your existing campaign, or maybe you're starting from scratch today, and this hopefully is helpful. if you're still like, I don't know what we're going to do, or we haven't really thought much about Giving Tuesday, and I'm afraid of throwing it in the mix on fundraising on that day because we're already having some other activity that is around fundraising. We don't know, we can't figure out how to bridge it. A lot of people do bridge it, like kick off their year-end campaign on Giving Tuesday. But if there's today launching, I think later today or tomorrow we'll be launching, and I'll be getting this information to your team at RDU, is a social campaign that you could employ that's called I'm Giving For. And it could be something that your volunteers or your board putting it on social, what they give for. It's going to be, there'll be some assets that we'll share that you can actually, maybe it's just, I give for X organization. You get your volunteers and your board to be posting on December 1st, just from an awareness perspective and garnering more awareness about your organization. So we're trying to create some of these plug and play type campaigns if you're not ready, but more to come on that. Hopefully that'll be out by tomorrow. So with that, I want to say thank you for doing the hard work, the good work, the important work. I hope this is helpful. I am happy to answer any questions, and I know that the RDU team wanted to share information about what y'all are doing from a community perspective. So I'll turn that over to Tanya.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Celeste? Any Giving Tuesday?
I think Howie had a question.
Oh,
he's on mute.
Unmute.
We've turned towards this as a major day experience, and we're doing a virtual fundraiser all day. So we have the collateral just about ready. We have a team. We have partners, because this is an alternative from processes that we've been doing for 10 years that have been live events. So we appreciate all that you're offering here, and we're looking to move forward. I think getting awareness in the media is a big hurdle for us. Mm-hmm. And we do have media contacts, but and we do have a media alert, and we've done these before, but to get traction in the media, even local media, of course, is a big hurdle. So we'd love some tips on garnering media attention.
That's the golden ticket question I get most of the time, because I get it. And more so now than ever, 2020 presents an even more challenge with the news cycle and what is being covered currently right now leading up to Giving Tuesday. So it makes it even, the noise is even louder and it's harder to get in. I'll provide a perspective from a Giving Tuesday perspective, but I don't have a local market perspective. So I'm going to turn that over to the RDU friends. But from our perspective, obviously, yes, it's the news alert, but it's making your campaign as unique as possible. Unfortunately, a lot of media are not going to necessarily pick up or cover one of maybe 100 fundraising campaigns that are happening on that day. All of those campaigns are super important and super important to the organization. However, the media is looking for a hook, a very unique story, a very unique campaign, something that is highly visual, something that's purely, it can be online, but it has to have some sort of element of visual that's, not just a website of people making you're able to make a donation. And we fought with this a lot when I was running things in Austin. And it really came down to very unique stories or collaboration stories of multiple organizations coming together and doing something together that made for a good story. And it also comes down to context. And I hate saying that, but it's also who you know. But I think it's as unique as you can make your experience and what you're offering as a story as much as possible. We know that, at least from a media perspective. We have so many communities that are doing amazing work and raising lots of money. But unless there is some other unique element to that and some other twist, it is very hard to get that coverage. But I would also say, don't focus just on traditional media. What I mean by that is like your news stations and your TV stations. There are a lot of influential other outlets out there, and even getting your word out in blogs and outlets that are or influencers in your community who aren't, I'm not talking about like movie star influencers or, you know, TikTok influencers. I'm talking about people who, like, there might be a local, you know, pastor or a local community figure who is really, has a voice and has an audience that you could partner with to get the word out about your work. Think of other outlets other than the traditional outlets. We have, that is what we found, at least in Austin. We were getting into the parent blogs and the parent Facebook groups and the food Facebook groups. If there was like a food element, if there was a pet element to it, getting into that audience. And that serves you a whole lot more than just trying to get blanket coverage.
And Howie, just as a thinking outside the box a little bit, if I were you, I would reach out to local news organizations and say that you'll provide free online yoga instruction for like the WRAL reporters. If they'll let you do, you know, tell them if they'll listen to like a 30-second spiel about your organization and see if they take you up on that.
Well, it's interesting because we provide free yoga currently now worldwide.
They don't know that.
Right. So, right.
And it's, you know, and it makes it something they're offering just their staff. Like they can make it seem like a value add for their staff. So just something to think about.
Duly noted, or ABC too.
All of them. I mean, we have a press list if you need, you know, help getting the message out.
Duly noted, Melissa St. John. I will find you. Thank you.
That's good stuff. Any other questions?
I like Betsy's idea. If we could just get rid of politics and COVID, we would, I mean, make life so much better.
We thought it would get better after November 3rd.
No, silly us. No.
14.
All right. I have a question again. If I'm unmuted.
Oh,
Am I
Howie.
unmuted?
Yep, you're good.
So if I share our collateral about our event, which is 14 hours of yoga on Giving Tuesday, that's worldwide, how can that be shared with the group?
You mean with this group, the RDU group? Well, you can send it to us and we can send it out.
Okay.
To everybody.
Yoga marathon.
Because we do yoga in our schools, so we might just log on. We have a Facebook page we could post, and you know, those types of things we can cross-pollinate pretty easily.
We have a family class that day. We have a class in Spanish that day.
Oh, we speak
That's
Spanish.
coming from Bogota, Colombia. So we have Latinx Heritage Month. We have BIPOC oriented classes, so it's cutting edge.
Awesome.
It's the Star Trek of yoga.
Oh my God, that's
Yoga discovery.
Love it.
Welcome aboard.
That's awesome. I love that.
That's awesome. So good. Anything else before we let Celeste go? Any other questions?
Thank you.
Well, yes, thank you. That was awesome, Celeste.
And thanks for
So
sharing
good.
the slide deck.
Oh,
I think
yes.
Robin had a question.
Oh,
Yeah.
Robin.
Yeah, and maybe we're going to get to the RDU part of it next.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about more specifically what's happening with this group.
Yes.
Okay, then I'll wait.
Yep. Okay. Awesome.
Well,
So Celeste, just email me the slide and I'll make sure everybody gets
yep,
copies.
I'll email it to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Celeste.
I can't wait to hear the RD story. And and we are grateful to Tanya, Melissa, and Emily for all of your work and your leadership. We are so grateful to have you in the network. So best of luck, y'all. Generosity is needed now more than ever. This is what unifies us. This is what is the equalizer. And, you know, we just can't wait to see it happen. So good luck.
Happy
Thank
Thanksgiving.
you.
Thank you as well.
Bye.
Bye.
So awesome. So Robin, what did you have a question for the team, RDU team?
Yeah, in the original message, when we heard about this and applied and everything, it said that somehow Giving Tuesday RDU was going to be promoting and highlighting our programs and our Giving Tuesday campaign. So just wanted to hear a little bit more about that. Like, what do you specifically do you need from us, and what does promotion look like?
Yeah, so I'll start, and Melissa, Emily, jump in. But we are going to post. So we've already started creating posts from now leading up to and on the day of Giving Tuesday. So everyone will have a post that describes kind of what, when you filled out the application, what your need was. Oh, I see Betsy. Yes, the RDU theme is Save Our Nonprofits, Save Our RDU Nonprofits. We partnered with Danae and Amber with Activate Good. And Amber had found this, a number, this astonishing stat, how many nonprofits were closing due to COVID and are on the verge of closing. And so that's how we came up with the Save Our RDU, or North Carolina Nonprofits. So our idea was to just spread awareness. This is our inaugural launch of the campaign. And eventually we would like to get some corporate sponsorship to help raise funds for all of the nonprofits that we partner with during this time. So, but right now our goal is to raise awareness. Like Melissa said, we have a PR list that we're going to send press releases to. We're going to talk, try and spread the word on social media the best way that we can, working with different organizations that have large followings. What else are we doing?
Well, I just like to say, I'm all about being a social media manager. I'm all about the algorithm, right? And we need to do what we can to help each other get the organic growth that our posts are going to need. So if we can all commit to sharing, liking, commenting on each other's content, that will help all of us to grow. When you see the Giving Tuesday RDU posts, and we've tagged one of you, and it's got your co-branded logo with the GT RDU logo and your logo, and we're driving to people to, for 9/11, maybe it's buy your merchandise. For some of you, it's go to the wish list. For some of you, it's give now, time, talent, treasure, like the things we're asking people to give for each of you. If, be nice and like other partners' posts, not just your own, right? Share your own, and that's important, because by sharing our posts on your page, you help us to grow, which behooves you, because we're going to be raising money in the future. This is our first year, so we're starting a little small, but we're going to be amplifying all of your brands. Giving Tuesday has that brand recognition globally, so there's a legitimacy to all of you, small or large, just by being posted there. And then, like I said, please everybody like Howie's posts, everybody like Betsy's posts. The more likes and comments those posts get, the more Facebook and other platforms will recognize them as valuable content, and the more organic growth they'll get in the feed. So it helps all of us. It takes a team, right? So that's my 2 cents. I've created posts for 10 of you. We've broken it up, and we're all going to be doing content for y'all. And I'm committed to, on my personal feed, sharing and amplifying your message as well. So we just have to work as a team and help one another grow this Giving Tuesday.
What else we got?
I tend to chat in the thingy more than
I know. I was like, let me answer that.
So, the one thing is, and I think, Howie, this speaks to some of what maybe you were trying to get at, right? So if there was a common hashtag that we were using in addition to whatever our own messaging is, right?
Yeah.
Could it then go to a campaign page where all of our individual giving opportunities are there? I mean, so people could go to the cause, go to the page, and then give to whatever cause they were interested in. And then the other thing is,
that's our website, right? We've got all of y'all on there.
Okay.
Using hashtag Tuesday RDU.
Okay. And the other thing would be, could you send out a contact list for this group so that we can go in and follow pages, or like each other's pages and whatever.
But I assume you're all going to follow Giving Tuesday RDU. So
yes, Melissa knows I love to do that, well. And Well, maybe, no. So anyway, I mean, I do that a lot with the well, you know, as far as other organizations and pages and things like that. So.
Okay, I'm writing this down.
Create a distro, email distro, but
Yeah.
make sure you follow on social too.
Yes. What else was there? There's two others.
And I know I'm here, Tanya here, and Emily, we're all here to support you. If you have questions, if you have technical problems with your campaigns, if you know, are trying to boost something and are struggling, please don't hesitate to reach out.
I want to see the Christmas pants. She's walking behind you. I want to see the Christmas pants.
No, that's not his girlfriend. That's
all right.
That's my friend Charlotte. I'll have to call them if you want to see them, Betsy.
I'm good. Just teasing.
Okay. All right. I was just reading through the comments. Okay. So I will get this list out to you guys, everything that we talked about. I see, yes, you can have, we can send you. So maybe what we could do, because we're creating all of the social media posts in advance, somehow we can, like, I think they may want to see it before it goes out. But these are what we're posting on the RDU Instagram account.
There's a question about the Facebook page.
Where's that? You want to answer that, Melissa?
Yeah, so Facebook unpublished our page because they found that they thought it violated community standards because they thought we were trying to impersonate Giving Tuesday Global. So 2 months ago, Tanya appealed, and I think a month ago I appealed, and yesterday I got them on chat and they said it was under appeal. And I said, we're 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks from the day.
Can't Giving Tuesday Global intervene?
Well, they've reached out to their contact at Facebook. The bottom line is Facebook is profoundly unhelpful. We all know that.
Go to Liker.
So it stinks for this year that we don't have, I mean, he said within 48 hours. So by tomorrow, we should have some kind of resolution. Whether we'll have that in time to make any real use of it, I don't know. We're hopeful. Certainly we should have it by next year. I can't imagine that they're not going to find it in our favor because we have done nothing wrong. We're simply the community here.
And there are hundreds of Giving Tuesday.
Thousands,
there's
I think.
Canada,
Yeah.
India, like, you know, there's tons of them. So
we do have a page. We've had the page for many years, but for some reason they've unpublished it. So we're working on it.
Yes. Agree, Kristen. Agree. Okay, so
you're using Instagram and Twitter, not Facebook as much.
Instagram and Twitter. Yep.
I'm too old for those, but okay.
You're on there.
We're the same age, Betsy.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We all, the three of us.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, expect an email from us with all of these items that you asked for, and be in touch soon.
All right. So we're going to
thank you all for all the work that you're doing in the community. Just personally, I'm so grateful for all of you.
Yeah.
It's an honor to serve.
Amazing.
I don't know how to do it very well, but there you go. Oh, there you go. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to getting to know more of you, and we'll connect social with social media.
Yeah. And we'll probably do another Zoom like in the middle of December before your end of year campaigns. So.
Okay,
right.
good. Bye all. Happy
Bye.
Thanksgiving.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, where did